is going to be the Kennedy assassination. Now, I will ask you real fast, because there are going to be some things from this that we have discussed in the past. Who was the first American president to be assassinated? Abraham Lincoln's the one. There are some kind of just weird things that are going to compare Lincoln and Kennedy and their assassinations, but there's some other things that really connect them as well. So what we're going to be talking about today is going to be the Kennedy assassination. Now, first, I want to point out a couple of things about this, because I guess kind of the eerie thing about it is they're just very much connected. So I got to set up the story first. In 1963, Kennedy's getting ready to run for re-election. He's up for re-election in 64, so he needs to really start campaigning very early on. In 63, he's going to go down to Texas. And Texas is a state that he should have won, because at this point, the southern states are very much voting Democrat. They're going to vote Democrats ever since before the Civil War. This is 100 years after the Civil War is concluded. The southern states still vote Democrat. It's all but a guarantee. But for Kennedy, Texas is kind of wobbling a little bit. So he needs to go down there to campaign and kind of remind these people why they should vote for him in the upcoming election. So he went to Texas for a handful of campaign stops. But Dallas was one of the places that he was supposed to stop. Now, while he's in Dallas, the sitting Texas governor is going to look for Kennedy as an opportunity. Now, the sitting governor, John Connally, he's up for re-election very soon too. Connally's a Democrat, Kennedy's a Democrat, and they're looking to maybe help each other out. Because in 1963, Kennedy's approval rating was actually it was really high for a president. His approval rating was right about 60%. That's pretty good. Most presidents, if you can be between about 50 and 55%, that's a pretty strong approval rating. He's at 60%. So Connally wants to be connected to him. Now let me kind of just play the other side here. What if Kennedy's approval rating was like 30%? Would Connally want to be anywhere near him? Nope, don't want to be connected to that. But because he's so popular, Connally says, can I just be seen with you? Can we kind of run this campaign together? That way we're connected. And Kennedy kind of says, yeah, sure, we can do that. I'll help you, you help me. So what Connally does is his staff sets up what's going to be like a public relations tour. Making speeches, shaking hands, getting your face out there, campaigning. And it's kind of bizarre, because Kennedy has a secretary, and her name is Mrs. Lincoln. Lincoln had a secretary whose name was Mrs. Kennedy. And in 1963, Mrs. Lincoln says to the president, I don't know what it is, but I got a bad feeling about this. Don't go down to Dallas. And Kennedy just tells her, no, it's already planned, it's decided, I'm going to go anyway. And what Connally has set up is they're going to drive through the streets of Dallas in a convertible limousine. Now, I'll go ahead and ask you guys, does anyone else see a problem with this? What's the problem? They're very exposed. As if we've seen someone else who was driving through the streets in a convertible. Maybe someone else who got assassinated in a convertible? Who was that? Did it spark a world war or something? Something like that? Is that what I heard? Oh, I hope we don't have a final exam. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's going to be rough. Who was it again? Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Same thing. Now, I will say, the Secret Service has the job of protecting the president. And the Secret Service told him, do not get into this convertible. That's a bad idea. And Kennedy just overruled them. Said, no, I want to be seen. So we're going to go in a convertible. It's a really bad idea. Now, I will ask this question because maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. Has anyone ever driven through Dealey Plaza in Dallas? Yeah. I did years ago, and it's kind of creepy because the place on the street where Kennedy was shot has this big painted X on it. And as I was driving through there, this was years ago, the girl that I was dating at the time, I was driving and she was riding next to me because she was from Dallas. And she goes, okay, we're about to get to the spot. Ready? Here we come. And we go over this little hill. And as you go down, you drive over that X. And as I was right on that X, I looked in the rearview mirror. And you can see the building where Kennedy was shot from. The Texas School Book Depository. It's a building, it's not really tall, it's a handful of stories. But it's this building that's almost like in a perfect spot for where the assassin pulls the trigger. At the Texas School Book Depository, Lee Harvey Oswald had been working there for a handful of months. When the parade route is printed in the newspaper, oh no. Have we heard that before too? Who else had the parade route printed in the newspaper? Archduke Ron Ferdinand. You have Lee Harvey Oswald on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository with a rifle. Now, he's just waiting for the president's car to come into view. Now, I told you guys about the X on the road, and when I was looking in the rearview mirror, you can see the building behind you, but from where Kennedy was shot to the Texas School Book Depository, it's fairly far away. It's about, give or take, it's about 300 or 400 yards away in a moving car. Lee Harvey Oswald fires 3 shots, and we have video of the president being shot. Now, if I have enough time, I'll show you the video or the recreation of it, because you can see one of the shots hit Kennedy through the back of the neck. 400 yards away, moving car, and you can see the president grab his neck as blood is coming out. Now, he's still alive when this happens. He's holding his neck, and you can see his wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, starts grabbing his arm because she's not quite sure what's going on. And as she grabs his arm, she looks at him and she can see the blood. That's when the 3rd shot comes. Now, I'm not going to show you that one because you can see it go through the president's head. Now, here's the deal. When the president's shot, he is killed really almost instantly. Because once everyone kind of realizes what's happening, the driver of the car hits the gas. There's a Secret Service agent trying to catch up to the car. He's trying to jump onto the back of it as the First Lady's trying to help him. They drive off to the hospital, which is not even 2 minutes away, and he's pronounced dead. Now, we don't know who's responsible at this point. What would be a worst case scenario for who's responsible? If it's the Soviets, is it World War III?
Yes.
As if we've had another instance where an assassination started a world war. Right, Haley? We got it now, right?
That's all right.
Oh, mercy. People start saying, this is it. This is the moment when it happens. Some people say, let's just launch the nuclear arsenal right now. And we'll worry about facts later. It's a good thing we didn't. And fortunately for us, we have a system in place for who takes over should something happen to the president. The vice president takes command. Now, this is Vice President Lyndon Johnson being sworn in on Air Force One. Here's Kennedy's wife with his blood still on her coat. We need a system in place so that the government can continue to run. Lyndon Johnson takes over just a couple of hours after Kennedy's pronounced dead. Now, we got to first talk about who the assassin was, because I tell you guys these facts because I want to set something up. Actually, let me tell you, People don't like randomness. People don't like the idea that one probably just disturbed individual can change the world. They like things kind of bigger. They like things like on a plane. So people start saying, there is no way one person could have shot the president in the prime of his career. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, a lot of conspiracy theories abound, but probably it was just Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald had kind of a strange sort of, I guess, drifter kind of life. When he was younger, he graduated high school and he went into the military. He goes into the military and he's trained as a sharpshooter. And he was a very good shot. Now, that kind of connects to what happens with Kennedy. But after he gets out of the military, he does some kind of bizarre things. He leaves the United States and he goes to Moscow. And in Moscow, he tries to become a Soviet citizen. And the Soviet Union turns him away. Probably. But he does stay there for a while. Now, was he maybe trained as an assassin? Maybe. But probably not. He comes back to the United States and he starts a pro-Castro communist group. Was he a communist? Maybe. We're not certain. But then once the president's been shot, he leaves the gun at the school book depository. He leaves the evidence there. And he gets out of the school book depository, he leaves this building, and he's walking very fast. He's walking kind of just rapidly down the street. As the police have started reporting, the president's been shot. Be on the lookout for strange behavior. Well, he's acting strangely, but no one really knows who did it yet. Lee Harvey Oswald runs into a police officer, and he stops him and he says, "Why are you moving so fast?" And he pulls out a gun and shoots the police officer. Now, we're not certain at that time if they were connected, but it makes a whole lot of sense. So now Lee Harvey Oswald leaves that police officer in the street and he runs to a movie theater. Uh-oh. As if Lincoln was assassinated in a theater and the assassin ran to a nearby building. Lee Harvey Oswald shoots the president from a building and runs to a theater. Now, he runs to the movie theater where he's surrounded and arrested. He's taken into police custody. The police have him, they're asking him questions, and his responses are kind of bizarre. So the police, a couple days later, are going to move him to a different holding area. They're going to move him to a different prison. But they tell the media, at this time, on this day, we're going to be moving Lee Harvey Oswald. So if you want a picture of him, now's the time. Out of the crowd jumps Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby is going to pull out a gun and shoot and kill Lee Harvey Oswald. The only person who really knows what happened. Jack Ruby had ties to the mafia. Oh, it's going to get weirder. Have a good day. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about some of the weird things that go with this. Just be certain that I get your Kennedy responses. Be certain to just leave those on the front desk. I'll grab those. Have a good day. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Certainly. Have a good day, guys.
What days are finals?
What days are they?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a memory, but I think it's Monday through Thursday.
No, like what day?
Oh, the dates? Geez, that Monday would be what? The 21st? Okay. 21st to the 24th, but I'm going off memory. Oh, from yesterday, is that right? Yesterday, we started this thing that you can't.